An equilibrium, so we'll go ahead and kick things off. So hello everyone, thank you so much for joining us today for our Mountain Talk presentation. My name is Bryce Neff. I am the Associate Director of College Affinity and Faculty Engagement here with the Alumni Relations team at Lehigh, and your host for today's presentation. So a couple of housekeeping notes that I want to address before we begin the conversation. Today's presentation is being recorded. So if you have to step off early due to conflicts, or if you have something that comes up, we will have that recorded that you can view at a later date via the Alumni Relations YouTube channel. For kind of the run of show for today, we will have a little bit of a longer presentation. So we'll go until 1 p.m., so about 15 minutes longer than we usually do. And then from there, we'll do roughly, 35 or so minutes, 35 to 40 minutes of presentation from our speaker, and then the remainder of the time we'll utilize for open Q&A with you all. So for that, you can use the chat function to submit all of your questions. If you select the option to send it to everyone, then you can kind of see all the questions that are rolling in, and hopefully that will spur some interesting conversation for that section of the presentation. For those that are joining us, this is a part 2 presentation. So I'm going to drop the link to the first recording into the chat now. So for anybody who didn't watch the first presentation, feel free to go back and look at the first recording. We will address some of the things that we talked about at the beginning of the presentation with our faculty speaker, Barak Eskici. So for a quick introduction, so Barak is a teaching professor in the data department, which is a decision and analytics or decision and technology analytics department within the College of Business. He is also the co-director of the computer science and business program, teaching courses in computing, data science, quantitative models, and AI at the undergraduate and graduate levels. Before joining Lehigh, he was a researcher at the World Bank, as well as a research program director for UC San Diego and a JPAL in South Asia and India, as well as a senior lecturer at Harvard University. So Barak, thank you so much for joining us again. I'm really looking forward to extending this conversation and continuing to learn more about how generative AI is going to be impacting our lives and our workforce and seeing what we can learn from it. So thank you.
Thank you very much, Bryce, for the great introduction, and thanks everyone for joining us today. This is such an exciting topic and exciting time to live, especially if you're interested in AI and how the business and workforce is changing. This is the part 2, so I will do a quick recap, but as the Lehigh University, especially the College of Business, we are invested a lot in the AI space. We want to be the kind of at the forefront of how AI is changing the business, from the executive education, the graduate degrees to undergraduate programs as well. Just kind of a quick 2 plugins. The one is this year has been the Generative AI in Business as the year of learning theme. Every course at College of Business and there's certain use some generative AI tools, as well as we try to kind of infuse AI into the entire core curriculum. And recently, about like 3 months ago, with 2 other faculty colleagues, we founded the AI Business Research Lab at College of Business. We will be doing research with businesses, creating experiential learning opportunities for the students, as well as being kind of a thought leader in this space as well. Quick kind of a framing about today's discussion. As kind of if you were part of in the first one, it was more kind of the fact base and what's happening and what's going on with the numbers and everything. But today's conversation, I framed more kind of a little bit, I wouldn't say speculative, but dreaming or thinking about how it's gonna look like, or how it is looking actually, how it looks like in the industry with the AI as well. Without kind of a too much kind of thing, that me quick to kind of for those who were not with us last time, let's do a kind of a quick 2-minute recap on the on the previous talk. It was mostly the theme was generative AI is here and it's transforming how we operate. So it's real and it's extremely kind of going very quick. And now over 80% of the professionals regularly use generative AI. And if you can look at like the numbers, when we talked last time, it was a February number. There were about 400 million active weekly users of ChatGPT. Now that number is around 800 million users. Within 2 months, it's actually doubled the active weekly users for one company, which is at the forefront, which is kind of the most widely used, but it is in everywhere. There are several reports. It keeps coming, but it boosts productivity significantly. In 2023 report by McKinsey, they call it, depending on the industry, depending on the role, but it saves individuals about 2 to 10 hours weekly, which will expand the creative and analytical capabilities of the individuals. In addition to individual increase, there's an organizational adoption is rapidly increasing. Right now, about 60% of large enterprises actively adopting generative AI solutions. And the impact on the global economy is expected to be massive. Again, in an earlier estimation, it is expected to have about $2 to $4.4 trillion on the impact on the increase on the global GDP in 5 years. And there are key trends. It's changing, the landscape is changing very quickly, but now the multimodal models are text, image, and video and audio are together. It's kind of the norm. It was used to be the bigger the better. Now we are shifting towards smaller, more efficient models, especially with the DeepSeek. There's a huge kind of a question mark about the size of the models. The AI agents are everywhere. It's not anymore just AI augmented tasks, but now AI agents can autonomously make decisions and do certain things. And there's an intense global AI competition and investment. You have seen lots of announcements, $500 billion here, $500 billion over there for data centers, energy investments, nuclear energy, and whatnot, because these AI tools are going to need massive resources. And in this case, it is transforming the business. The career adaptation is essential. Everyone needs to have some targeted upskilling or if sometimes reskilling based on the role, industry, and the goals. This will be mostly our kind of the topic today. And at the end, why should we care? If you are not convinced with all of these bullet points, the competition is there because your competitors are very much invested and doing all of this. To continue being kind of a competitive, you have to care about this. In addition to that, there's massive social, political, and economic implications of the AI in every aspect of the society. So with this today, we will be focusing on starting with kind of a larger picture. What can generative AI do? There is definitely some kind of a hype around this, but there's a genuine technological innovation. So we will talk with different modalities. What are the certain tasks AI actually can tackle, and give some examples with different tools. Then from there, generate kind of the tasks. We will dive into what the horizontal integration to business life and the vertical integration to sector-specific tools are kind of a look like right now. More kind of the picture of the industry right now. Excuse me. And then we will look at the workforce dynamics. We will have 3 personas, fictional characters for an individual contributor, mid-level manager, and an executive. What kind of the AI changes the daily life, and what kind of skills we will need to use these effectively. And we will conclude with a couple of like bullet points how to become ready for this uncertain future. Uncertainty is definitely there. Things are going in a certain direction, and as famously it is said, whatever the AI tool that you are using right now is the worst AI tool that you will ever use. If you compare about a couple of months ago, things are changing very rapidly. In a couple of months, things are getting better and better. This is why, for certainly, we know that things are going to get better, more efficient, more effective, more capable. But we will see how it will change the business in the upcoming years. This is why today's kind of a conversation is a bit kind of talking together, trying to imagine future all together with some facts, obviously. So let's jump in like what can generative AI actually do. The one kind of the first modality is the text. So text generation is kind of goes far beyond writing. And the reason why these models work the best with the text at the moment is because of they are trained on a huge amount of textual data. So in terms of like the different tasks, it kind of varies from like try to limit this into six, but in a couple of like the general categories. The first one, of course, like the content creation. If you have nothing in mind, it can start from like the drafting emails, drafting blogs, drafting reports, or you can give kind of the content or marketing copy. That is a big plus and increases kind of the preparation or the prep work for anyone. You can be an individual contributor, you can be a mid-level manager. The content creation and content enhancement is actually there. Right now, I never send an email before passing through a large language model because it gets much better. And I fed all of my kind of the previous inbox almost to a large language model. So it actually knows my tone. It recognizes how I write typically. I'm a non-native speaker, so I have certain kind of ways in which and a style in writing. So it kind of rewrites for tone. For sometimes I need to write to the president or the dean of my school. I need to change the tone a bit to make it more formal. Or if I'm requesting something, I might kind of inject a certain lens or kind of a flavor to it, so it becomes much easier. And then for most of the companies, the personalization at scale is much easier. You can have a one bullet point, certain kind of a content to email reach out to potential sales, right? But it can easily, the large language models or the generative AI can tailor those emails or sales pitches based on your customer information. It can make it, it can change the tone and enhance the content as well. Then other than this kind of the content creation, personalization, and enhancement, the knowledge extraction is a big part of it. Now, pulling insights and actions from the transcripts, from your meetings, for example, or a certain report. And nowadays, it is really kind of hard to read something from cover to cover because these tools are giving you all the bullet points very quickly. I'm not saying you shouldn't read. Reading, of course, kind of I give you a better idea, a full picture. But if you don't have enough time, if you just need to get the gist of it, the knowledge extraction is definitely there. Other than personally knowledge kind of learning, you might have FAQs, you might have some rules and regulations, you might have some customer kind of related policies. Any kind of a chatbot can extract the knowledge from those without hallucination, just limiting within those knowledge base are actually extremely useful and extremely easy to get access to that knowledge. And the next one is actually going much better in the last the last 6 months, as we are moving from kind of the just pre-trained models to reinforced models and inference models, which is going a little bit research and accessing to different tools on the website and different documents, coming back doing deep research. Brainstorming and ideation is one of the other tasks that people are using a lot, and it's getting better and better to generate just ideas, to bounce back ideas, use AIs as your kind of first person or first kind of tool that you bounce back ideas is a widely used part. And the next one is instructional content. With as a teacher, as a professor here, I use AI every day to create my slides, to create the content, to create a business case, fictional, to create, for example, a fictitious data to use in classroom. So depending on the topic we are doing, it is much easier to create a very customized business case to underline a specific business concepts or teach business concepts to students. And the last one is maybe I can talk about is the translation and localization. Translation is much easier right now from language to language. And all in addition to from like a different languages, it is also important to transfer from one brand to another brand. So again, it's going a little bit with the personalization at scale kind of the thing as well. So text is very widely used. All of these AI and large language models are trained on the first and foremost the textual data. This is why the results are getting much better. 2 years ago, the prompting was very important. Now it is less. these AI models now can understand us much better. A couple of years ago, these AI models were kind of hallucinating a lot. They were giving us nonsense information, not true, not correct. Now it's not the case. The things are getting much better and better, and it will get better as well. So I don't see the textual use case is going to be maybe the strongest in the upcoming months or years as well. The next one is kind of the code generation or working with the code. Most of you may not be writing code or dealing with code, but it is actually changing, doing a kind of a big shift in how we approach coding. You may not code, but now you can actually use AI tools to code or to develop certain softwares to solve certain business problems. So in that sense, you can just using a natural language, giving some directions to tools like Replit is one of them, Cursor is one of them, GitHub Copilot is one of them. You can definitely develop a game for your kid or for your nephew if you have for a very kind of a specific thing. I have a 6-year-old who is into kind of a gaming as well, and we use this a lot. I'm not a perfect coder. I understand how to code about how code works, but I am not a software developer. But now with Replit, within 15 minutes, you can actually create your own games, specific kind of a customized for your own taste. So in that sense, for prototype, maybe these are not at the production level right now, but it is also kind of for prototyping, for looking at this, it is kind of a very much used in the code as well. So the code component of the generative AI makes everyone as a creator or able to do something with the coding as well. Other than this, if you are working with the code, you can create some workflow tools and automation. You can do kind of, for example, automate Excel tasks. You may not have written any kind of Excel macro to this date, but today you can sit down and explain what you need to do, and the generative AI tools are going to create those Excel macros for you. You can automate your email management or calendar management, easily writing some code as well. In addition to this, kind of the people who are new to coding, for those who are coding actually day to day, debugging, making your code more efficient, troubleshooting is very easy right now with the Gen AI tools. Code optimization, making it more efficient is there. You write the code in my language, for example, Java, and then you just want to have the same code in Python. Just one prompt, the generative AI tools give 99% of the time the right working code back to you. And if you want to learn a new coding tool or a syntax, now it is much easy to do this with the generative AI tool. The next one is I just put them together, the images, the audio and video, more kind of in the creative side, which are getting much better, especially in the last couple of months, in the last 3 months, when we get the Sora from the OpenAI and their new image generation tools with the new Gemini 2.5. Now actually we can manage better with prompting. For example, we can now say, give me a blue ball, it gives you the ball. And then we can say, okay, now add a brown background or put this ball on a brown table. Now this generative AI tool can actually create these images very easily. So it becomes much easier to create these images, add some brand assets next to it. You can do UX mockups very easily. You can personalize all of this. So the content creation in terms of audio visual is becoming much easier and more effective as well. And these are more kind of I would say like the old school or the origin of the generative AI tools. These were kind of the AI assisted tasks we can do with this different models. But now, as you may have heard, and this is the buzzword right now, we are shifting by using all of these modalities and tasks. Now we can create autonomous agents. Autonomous agents can help us do certain business tasks or personal kind of workflows. It will generate lots of value to individually or and professionally as well. If you think about agents right now, these are existing agents at the moment. And again, the agents are maybe like 6 months old as an implemented idea. The one group I just want to spend a little bit more time on this is now we have a lot of personal productivity agents. You can create an agent, you can give certain directions, then they can schedule your meetings. In the morning, you can have a summarize your inbox. It can prioritize your tasks. It can do the project management. It is much easy. Okay, rewind, Lindy, motion. These are some examples that came up in the last couple of months, actually. So this is why everyone as actually can have a very effective executive assistant. Now it was the old days, only the C-suite as it has have an executive assistant. Now each one of us, including our students, for example, can have this kind of a personal productivity agent or an executive assistant. The second part is like the workflow automation. So we have all of these in the workflow with the enterprise ERP systems. We have these kind of the automated systems, but now it's kind of a more orchestrating all the tools in different parts as well. If in the project management, for example, it can send select alerts, it can send a couple of emails at the same time, compile reports coming from the dashboard, and then assign tasks to different team members too. And the third one, which is getting very kind of hot right now, is the customer interaction agents. The old school version of this, like the chatbots that we are using in marketing and the customer relations. But now these are getting kind of the agents, which is basically rather than talking and calling and chatting with a AI chatbot, now these chatbots actually act as a customer representative. It can go back, look at the orders, resolve a problem, issue a refund, send another kind of a thing. So it can handle the support tickets actually. So it gets much easier. So these are becoming, the term is now is the synthetic employees or synthetic colleagues in the business world. The next one is the research and analysis agents. So remember like the coding and all the like the code structure. This is kind of the engine of these agents. Since the AI tools can generate code, so we can actually create these agents. Behind this is a kind of a piece of code basically. So now we have with the deep research models or tools, we can actually give tasks to research for research to these agents. For example, do you have a new product? I have a kind of a stress ball here, yellow stress ball with the computer science and business program here. Let's say you have your tool and you just want to have a market research on this. You take a picture of this. Since these tools are multimodal, it can take a picture, understand what this is, the material and everything. You can talk about what market you are targeting for this, how much, what the kind of the target price for this. And then you can ask these AI agents to do a market research for you. It will collect, find whatever information it can find on the web. It will go deeper. It is beyond just finding a couple of PDF and summarizing them. It will cross-reference them, find different things, and it will take maybe 20 minutes. It will take maybe half a day to get back to you a very properly well formatted report on the market research of this ball as well. So this is getting bigger. So one kind of a quick example, this was not an agent, but it's getting there. This year, if you remember, the Nobel Prize for Chemistry went to the CEO of DeepMind, which is Google-owned AI company, for their product protein structures, protein fold. So a computer scientist actually got the Nobel Prize for Chemistry because of the research for the protein structures that their agents were able to get back to them. Then a couple of like the things maybe I can talk. These are like the most important, like the first four are the most important. The fifth and the sixth kind of the data and reporting agents. Now, beyond creating dashboards, beyond having all of these, you can have an AI agent who is continuously watching 24/7. Let's say you are running a manufacturing facility, and all of the like there are sensors and everything around the facility. You can have an army of AI agents that are continuously looking at the dashboards and the certain metrics and KPIs for the manufacturing, and it can send send you some warnings at the easiest way, but it can also create certain ERP triggers. It can trigger a CRM update. It can trigger lots of things within the workforce as well if they are integrated to your entire workforce. And so and it's at the end, all of these the term is a very kind of a interesting term. It sounds like a Black Mirror episode, but now we are talking about synthetic labors or the synthetic workforce. So we are the organic ones, and these agents are going to be the synthetic colleagues that we will be working together, which have implications on the HR, which have implications on the performance management, which has implications on the onboarding, which I think I want to talk a little bit more in the upcoming slides. So these AI tools at the broadest or the highest level will integrate into your work in different ways. And this depends on your industry, your goals, and your role within your company. In the previous kind of talk, I had this kind of the pyramid, which is the kind of the industries. At the top, we have these foundational model developers. And in the middle, we have these AI solution developers or enterprise solution providers, such as the Oracles or the IBMs or like a small tool developers. These are different stories. The how AI is going to integrate, because these are the builders of the AI. But the rest is kind of the all of us, actually. And the integration of AI tools and the rest has kind of a two dimensions. The first one is the horizontal. Cross-functional tools, whatever you are doing in whichever industry, there will be things that you will be adapting to your daily life. And the second part are there will be vertical integration or the vertical tools. They will be industry specific or your department specific, which you will need your expertise, understanding, and background information, contextual knowledge to be implemented in your specific use case. If you just look very quickly, the horizontal ones are everyone is going to use it. The text assistants we discussed, all of us are using every day, and it is you can be whichever role you are doing. These are helping us a lot. Coding copilots for some of us is there. Visual generators, AI agents, and the business and the AI integration, business intelligence, analytics, dashboards is just there. And whichever industry you are, these are coming. There are generic products, and everyone is trying to be in this space. If you are selling these products, everyone is trying to reach out to you. I am sure you are hearing or receiving a ton of emails from potential kind of the sellers or developers. If you are on the developing side of this, you are trying to reach and find a space in this very fastly getting crowded market. The vertical ones are more interesting, I feel like. The vertical ones are in different, depending on your industry, these are industry-specific solutions, which actually work much, much better as expected. For example, in finance, we are hearing from every financial firm. It can be an investment firm, it can be a bank, it can be a regulator. There are lots of in-house tools that are developed, and they are using a lot. Bloomberg has one, Bank of America has one, JP Morgan has its own. And these are usually, and most of the time, built within the companies, because whatever data Bloomberg has, whatever data JP Morgan has, it has it's very, very valuable, and they don't want to share this with the APIs or with the AI companies. So these are mostly built in within these companies. These are forecasting tools, automatic risk analysis models, and analyzing the news or what's happening in the world and their implications in the finance. It kind of varies from predictive models, predictive machine learning models or AI tools to generative models as well. The second group, which have a very strong kind of case, which is the legal applications. Harvey EI is one of the well-known one, and they are really good in contract generation, legal research, and extract information. The third one is the healthcare sector. We have Matt Palm is one of them. There are tons of them. And this is diagnostic summaries. When you go to doctor, you just talk and you have a kind of a after a visit summary, right? These summaries are mostly generated by AI tools right now. Clinical note generation, easing the FDA application, or medical research tools are very much becoming kind of a norm in the healthcare sector. One thing I just want to emphasize in these three industries, as you can see, these industries have a lot of data. It can be text mostly or other types of data that has been accumulated and that are specific to these industries. Especially, for example, in the legal or the law firms, you have a ton of kind of the court documents, the decisions and verdicts that you need to refer back to, as well as the law is already is a textual data. Then these contract generation and tons of previous contracts and other things. This is why actually it works really, really well. In finance, you have the SEC filings, you have the earning calls, you have all the kind of the numeric data, quantitative data, you have the risk and kind of the credit scores, all of these summarized. All of these are very well structured and almost like at the same type. They are kind of at the same structure. So this is why these models in the finance and legal and healthcare, such as, work much better than other sectors, and their implications or these tools are quite expensive and quite valuable. And a couple of other kind of examples in retail, of the inventory tools, customer personalization, lead follow-ups. We have new tools every day. In education, we are kind of having like a big challenge as a higher education institution because now AI can teach you anything and it is personalized. I have 30 students in my class. I may not be able to personalize for everyone, but AI tutors can do. So it is getting very much crowded in this space as well. But in the last one and the manufacturing, we have a lot of tools. And the last one is I just want to mention like the McKinsey has its own tool right now. It's called Lily, I think, which is for proposal drafting, knowledge extraction, and slide deck creation. As a company, McKinsey has a ton of archive, 100 years of archive, that you can put this all together and then package within a generative AI tool, which will give you high quality first drafts. It might be still first draft. It may need the kind of the partners or a kind of a mid-level consultants oversight on this. But these tools are doing really good job, especially creating the first draft, which is usually the most time-consuming part in these applications. And then, in addition to hybrid and vertical kind of integration, we also have kind of the hybrid integration. These are functional specifically, but industry-specific applications might be different from one industry to another industry. For example, HR and talent management. Every company needs to hire, train, and promote and do the talent management, performance reviews, and whatnot. These are similar tasks or similar functions, but it may look different in a finance sector to healthcare sector to in the manufacturing, right? So this is why we have generic HR and talent management tools developing very rapidly and use of AI, but their applications in different sectors are a little bit different from each other. For example, customer support. Every company has with customers are dealing with customers. Making it kind of automatic is a big deal, but it may be different for Amazon to a software company to a kind of a service company, right? And similarly, like the service automation, compliance and risk monitoring, document management, knowledge management, and financial tools are in this. I will put in this kind of the hybrid category. By the way, these are not like a set in stone. These are more kind of an open discussion, but it's more kind of a framework how we can find our ways in this super crowded and uncertain and rapidly changing AI environment. Hopefully, this kind of thinking or providing this kind of a framework may help us to find our ways in this. Then I will jump from this. We started with this big modalities, the text, audio, visual, and coding for everyone, and then we jump to this in the integration to business, horizontal, vertical, and hybrid. Then let's think about like three different personas and how their daily life actually may be affected with the introduction of AI. So let's imagine a person whose name is Jordan, and he's an individual code contributor. Let's say he is a marketing associate, and he's working in the professional services. And his primary tasks are content creation, client communication, and campaign coordination. And this is typical of his life with the AI. I know maybe he's not. He seems to be working at 4, which is not maybe realistic. But he starts the day with inbox triage, right? He needs to look at his inbox. He needs to send some emails, or he needs to think about his day. So now we have AI tools to summarize the unread emails, which can flag the priority threads. Rewind, Gmail plus Gemini kind of help us on this. We can also have the calendar integration, creating certain blocks in terms of for content drafting or email responding or admin tasks, right? And it can also help Jordan to prioritize his tasks within the day, week, and month as well. Then after this kind of quick morning inbox triage, he has a 1.5 hour on content drafting. Now he can use ChatGPT or Jasper to draft a newsletter, to LinkedIn post or a campaign copy. And he kind of works with closely as a kind of assistant or a kind of a team member with working with him to in the content creation. And then he has a kind of a slide deck prep. He uses Canva AI or Beautiful AI to visualize recent campaign data on pitch-ready slides. And then he has a meeting at 12. He needs to prepare for this meeting. Then he goes to use his AI agent to summarize the agenda, to give the kind of to provide the client context, which is kind of connected with, let's say, the Salesforce or the CRM solution, and proposes talking points individualized to these specific clients. And in the Zoom meeting, during the Zoom meeting, he is using, let's say, the Autopilot or Fireflies or Zoom's AI enhancement to take notes, highlights the decision, and assigns the action items to whoever is going to do what. After the meeting summary is automatically created, it's sent to all the kind of the people who were in the meeting. And then in the afternoon, he has kind of a client personalization, and he has a kind of a campaign analysis. He is using Pablo GPT to auto-generate the reports and dashboards and give insights. And at the end of the day, he uses the AI kind of agent to recap the key wins, pending items, and plans for tomorrow as well. So in this one, he has certain shifts in his kind of role. The shifts are now he's moving from more execution heavy to strategy enhanced part. So he doesn't have to spend too much time drafting maybe or the first draft. Now his focus shifting from creating or being kind of the first in the line to oversighting, editing, and personalization. And he gains time for creativity, experimentation, and deeper analysis. This is the kind of the productivity gain we hope Jordan to have. And for this to work very kind of effectively, Jordan needs to develop skills on prompt engineering, becoming more creative, how to ask questions to AI and use them more effectively, being on top of kind of the latest tools that will give him some kind of an edge. He needs to become kind of the expert on AI editing and curation. He needs to become fluent in these tools, and he needs to develop this human judgment, which is good, what is good or what is not in terms of this content. So this will make him much more effective. For him to become effective, he needs to work on these skills. Let's jump to this kind of another person whose name is Alex. She is a mid-level manager. And her title is Marketing and Communications Manager. She is working at a consumer tech company, and her primary tasks are she manages 5 direct reports, oversees campaigns, and client coordination. Her day looks a little bit different. In the morning, she needs a morning briefing. So her AI assistant, Emotion or Reclaim or some of them, summarizes the calendar, team updates, and urgent items. Let's say in some kind of a deliverables or whatever the urgent items she needs to take care. Then she has a team stand-up meeting. So AI prep the talking points based on the previous meetings, the flow and everything, and pulls the key metrics from the dashboards and talks about the recent team activity. Then she has a daily stand-up with let's say her manager AI listens via Zoom, for example, records notes, logs blockers, and the decision. And then she has a kind of a blog about the campaign oversight. She analyzes, AI analyzes team progress on Monday.com or Asana and flags overdue deliverables and trends. And then she needs to join kind of a performance review. So she uses AI generated 360 summaries, sentiment analysis, and draft review feedback for team members. Then in the afternoon, she needs to finalize the client deck. She just works on whatever her team provided. She polishes, use AI to kind of assess what's working and what's not. And then after that she just uses Slack and email catch up with the other people. And at the end, she at the end of the day she works on, let's say, strategy work. She uses AI agents, AI models to next quarter's campaign timeline using best benchmarks or competitor data. So it makes much easier for her to focus on the strategy within this with the help of AI. In this case, her role shifts now less focused on manual tracking, coordination, and communication. Now it is more focused on coaching and oversight and strategy and decision making. And she can easily delegate routine management tasks to an agentic AI tools that monitor, organize, and report. For that to happen, she needs to develop as this kind of a skill on AI oversight. She needs to be very kind of a quickly, this is good, this is not good. She needs to be better at prompting and refining. She needs to develop this emotional intelligence on managing the team dynamics, combining AI input with the human insight. Just your AI input may not be able to deliver the human aspect of the team dynamics. And she needs to get better at data literacy using AI powered analytics to make informed decisions. The last person we have is Emma. She is a chief marketing officer at a B2B software as a service company. And her primary tasks are strategic planning, market positioning, and executive decision making. So now her job becomes, in addition to maybe her team, she also uses AI agents and AI tools to compiling internal KPIs, more kind of pulling information or data from different parts of the company or from her team, so she can have a high level input and summarization as well. It becomes more important for her to use AI textual tools, for example, for drafting the keynote outline or op-ed, and she needs to be involved more kind of closely with the AI. But in all of the kind of this previous kind of the tasks, from organizing the day, organizing the emails, managing the meetings, meeting notes, assessment, project management, and overview, it becomes much easier for Emma by using similar tools that the other people were using. Now for Emma, the shift is now it's more kind of a decision maker, from decision maker to what we can say decision orchestrator with the AI support. Now she gains a little bit time and clarity to focus on big picture questions, strategic pivots, and human-centered leadership. And she treats AI agents as almost like multiple chiefs of staff. Now she doesn't have only one chief of staff, but she can have one chief of staff on certain group, another chief of staff for a certain and another group of tasks. So she can delegate information synthesis, briefing, and forecasting to these synthetic colleagues or chiefs of staff. So the skills for her to become, she needs to be an AI fluent. AI literacy, AI fluency should be there. She should be able to have a judgment which tool is better than the other. And she needs to have this executive discernment, like a balancing intuition and AI recommendations. It doesn't mean AI is going to replace her. We definitely have Emma's kind of the human side and understanding this kind of the intuition. But AI recommendation is going to just make them better. We need Emma for ethical framing, understanding the risks, the problems, or the potential issues to relying on AI too much. And we need her to become a better communicator. I mean, she's already kind of a CMO. She's a good communicator, but she needs to get better in terms of blending AI generated content with personal and public leadership voice. In that sense, with all of these, Emma or any kind of is going to be much better top level executive in her firm, and hopefully manage the team much better, bringing that human intuition to the workforce. So overall, in all of these kind of the three personas, critical thinking, like questioning what we are getting and is it working or not, and adaptability are crucial. Because as I said before, AI tools are getting better and better. Whichever AI tool you are using right now is the worst AI tool you will ever use in your life. So in that sense, and it will continue like this for a certain amount of time. We are still in the very early stages of this. It's a big technological shift. So in that sense, you just need to keep your critical thinking skills. But the problem is right now, these AI tools are good enough. Let's say they are at 95% in terms of getting things right, maybe 97%. And for most of us, it is good enough to use and rely too much, which has a kind of a risk that we may rely too much on this AI without checking if it is correct or good or not, or if it is an ethical use or not. This is why having our guard a little bit, having this critical thinking while using these tools are extremely, extremely important. While as well as things are changing very rapidly, we need to adapt we need to have this adaptability and be ready to jump to new tools at the all the time. So in that sense, we need AI literacy and critical thinking and adaptability as a foundational for everyone to become more resilient in this changing workforce. And what else you need is going to depend on your job function, your industry specific solutions and tools, as well as personally or at the company level, the expectations and aspirations, how AI is going to be integrated in your tool or not. I will stop here. I am a little bit like 3 minutes late, but I'm happy to jump to Q&A part.
Wonderful. Thank you, Brock. Lots of questions that are starting to flow in as people are kind of processing and digesting the information that you just presented. So we'll jump into things. One thing I wanted to note that was kind of funny. George had mentioned during Alex's presentation, Alex's example, is that she had no time for lunch.
Yeah.
So yeah, but potentially in between some of the meetings and the use cases, hopefully she was able to grab a quick bite.
It is very good.
Yeah.
It is this one, right?
Yes.
It
Yep.
is good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's an
She's got her
oversight on my.
performance reviews at 12. She's not getting anything to eat. Wonderful.
But
So
she ends at 4:30, so it might be okay. I will say this is a little bit kind of, but I agree with you.
all right. So to start, some of the questions that started coming in were regarding kind of the use cases and kind of maybe the ethics around kind of text generated content. So Gordon had a question regarding some colleges that were maybe flagging or not accepting college applications that are utilizing AI generated or AI assisted essays. As well, there was another follow-up question from somebody else. I think it was Sue, asking about Lehigh's preparation for students utilizing AI. So can we kind of talk about maybe a little bit of the ethical piece for those who may be utilizing AI for written content, and also address a little bit about how AI is supporting and educating students on the use of AI, both currently as well as it progresses.
Absolutely. So it's a very valid and big concern. I this talk and in the previous talk, I am very bullish on the AI. Right? I'm very optimistic it will help us a lot, but this doesn't mean there are a lot of issues that we need to figure out. And the one is this the ethical challenge, especially about the IP. These models are trained on huge amount of textual data, and none of those like lots of like the old books and whatever you can find on the internet, and none of these people who originally created those texts or the books compensated with these tools, right? Whatever you are getting when you polish your email using ChatGPT, we owe something to Charles Dickens, right? So this is kind of but we cannot give, and it is not the structure as of now. So from an ethical standpoint, it is definitely an issue. What's going to happen to IP? Will and implications on will we willing to or incentivize to create more stuff as the AI is getting better and better. But um, the one kind of the biggest issue is there are certain frameworks or people are trying to figure out if we can put some kind of a signature, some kind of a trail in an AI generated text that so we can detect this is AI generated or not. But they're in very early stages. Google DeepMind has a framework. A couple of other companies have different frameworks. But until we have this kind of a thing, it will be really hard to understand if this is AI generated or not. The reason is tools are getting much better and better, and it will change. So there's a detection part or kind of the governance part of the problem, and the college applications or the admissions office are very rightfully asking not to use. The reason being because writing that essay for a high schooler is a big metric or understanding what this. It's a kind of a proxy for many different skills and being kind of a college ready or not. For us, it is important we need to assess this. Without that, it is becoming really half as in an application. So we will continue, I think, trying to seek for this, but enforcement is becoming kind of a problem. It's a similar thing. I am a kind of a academic. I am writing. What is plagiarism? What is not? How I will cite AI generated content in my papers, in my blog posts is still kind of a gray area. As a personal, what I'm doing is I try to like cite as much as possible with what prompt I use. But now it's getting really hard because while creating this slide deck, I had a kind of a chat GPT next to me, back and forth, asking different things, changing things and other things. So it is becoming really hard. At the end, I just need to decide I created the entire content working closely with ChatGPT, right? So this is becoming kind of the governance issue and part of it in this part, in the ethical part. The question about what Lehigh is doing quickly, Lehigh is started like 3 years ago when the first ChatGPT came. The library technology services, LTS, is the kind of responsible. So now we have about like 25 courses which have their own AI tool specifically customized for these courses. So the LTS can create this user interface on the background connecting to latest AI models through API access. And you can also limit what students ask and what kind of answers they can get. Give you an example, I'm teaching a Java course. I don't want them to use ChatGPT because when they post the assignment, ChatGPT actually gives them the entire code. If you do this without understanding what code is doing or what the output of the ChatGPT, you will not be able to learn what the core concepts of programming or coding. So our AI tool, customized for my Java course, will not give you the code. Will only give you kind of the guide you towards the answer without giving you directly the answer as well. So in that sense, there is a lot of tools and enhancements, and we are trying to put this into the core curriculum. From a curriculum and course development, we have 3 new courses started this year. One is I am teaching an introduction to generative AI. The second one is applied AI, a little bit coding and using those tools. And there's a third one, it is business and strategy with AI, which is case studies, how to implement AI into workforce. These 3 courses sequence is going to be hopefully become an AI minor in business. We want to include this as a kind of a graduate certificate program, as well as embed this into kind of the graduate degree programs as well. And we are developing, hopefully next fall, it will start an executive education modular program and AI and business applications. So there's a lot of things going on. The university is kind of trying to invest in every aspect of the higher education with the AI. But there will be more stuff coming in the upcoming months.
Yeah, it's absolutely constantly evolving. So we're
Yep.
we're trying to stay on top of it as best we can. So we had a couple of questions regarding kind of, justification of cost efficiency as well as the reality of how many different ways somebody might utilize these systems. While you were doing that presentation, I hopped into one of those the AI models just into Grok just to ask that question of like how much does the average cost for a license to utilize these agents? What does it look
Mm-hmm.
like? And it basically spat out a range of anywhere from, $2,000 to $40,000 for a license potentially, and then with some obviously justified examples. So I think for the broader question, Barack, what is the reality that a business or an organization might use, multiple different types of AI assisted tools. I think realistically, maybe 1 to 3 is a reasonable number. But I don't assume that, every aspect of the job will utilize AI to some degree. But what are your thoughts around kind of the amount of integration that AI will have into the workflows that you had presented?
I think it will. My kind of, it might be a little bit wishful thinking maybe, but as I said, I am, as a kind of a disclaimer, I am more on the kind of the optimistic side. The first, I think these are going to get cheaper. 2 years ago, the API access on ChatGPT was quite expensive. Now it is kind of almost nothing. It's like a pennies. This is why it is much easier to have a tool, customized tool using API. For example, my monthly fee that I'm paying to ChatGPT is $23. I'm using like the mid-level account, which is more than enough for me. When I use the API access through the university, exact the same model, exact the same thing, my monthly cost is about like in pennies. It's nothing if you think about this. And with the DeepSeek, with smaller models, all of these access is going to get cheaper and cheaper. In every technology, when it comes first, it's expensive. As more competition, more kind of a scale comes, the economies of scale, it will get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. Give you one example: cloud computing. Like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, when it first came out, it was extremely expensive. The on-premise servers were still kind of a thing. Then there were debates if it is for everyone or not, or anything like that. Right now, everything is on AWS. Everything is on almost cloud services because it's very cheap. It became kind of the norm as well. So my kind of thinking is generative AI is going to be core integral part of, for example, how you cannot imagine an enterprise without Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. It will not be imagined like some sort of an AI assisted agent in the companies as well. As you said, the agents, the fees for the licenses varies between $2,000 to $40,000. Depends on the thing. There will be open access ones. There will be open source ones. They will get cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. But it doesn't mean it will be easy to integrate. I don't think the money is the most difficult part. The change management, as everyone knows, in organizational behavior is the most difficult part. So we have a certain workforce who is varying from age, let's say 25 to 65. And that age also has a kind of maybe some correlation between AI readiness or tech savviness and using AI tools or not. So convincing this workforce, your organization, and integrating with the existing work flows is going to be the real challenge. This is why we need to think very thoroughly how to make this happen. I think this will be the bigger challenge than the cost, my belief.
Wonderful. So we are running low on time. I think we'll try and address maybe 1 or 2 more
Yeah.
questions to just in consideration. So I wanted to look through, I just had it moved. So John's question. So it seems there are many new AI tools which one needs to develop proficiency. As new and better tools appear every day, it seems learning how to use yesterday's tools may be considered a waste of time. So what are your thoughts on, as we talked about the acceleration of AI and as new tools come onto the market, what are your thoughts on utilizing the tools that we have now, in lieu of waiting for tools that are going to be developed in, 3 months, 6 months, a year, 5 years, and so on?
I think my kind of view is we are in this kind of the early stages. There's kind of a very much boom. Many of those tools are not going to survive because of the competition, and the quality, the better one, the more user-friendly ones are going to be the ones which will survive. So in that sense, maybe I wouldn't recommend waiting, I would say, but at the moment, whichever is the best tool, I think it's good to kind of start using. And developing proficiency is not very difficult. It is not, for example, learning a new coding language. It's not similar to learning for example, a dashboard creation, like a Tableau or a Power BI learning. Those are the learning curves are a bit kind of steeper in these kind of solutions. The beautiful or the best thing about the AI is it is this the natural language processing, like the NLP part. You just interact with these tools that as you are interacting to a human being with your own language. This is why I don't think it's a kind of a waste of time or resources, in the sense that these skills are very much transferable. For example, prompting. The way you ask questions is an important part still for interacting with the generative AI tools. It can be one language model, then another one, another company. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, you are asking a question. It's how to interact. Or developing this soft skill like a critical thinking or being understanding which is good, what is not, what is good, what is not in terms of an output. It doesn't matter which tool you are using. That kind of a lens, developing that lens is requires spending good amount of time interacting with these tools, that you will develop this kind of a sense of quality in those things. This is why I think all of these tools, whichever tool that you are using, will help you to develop certain skills that you will be able to transfer when you change the tool to a different one.
Wonderful. And I think kind of following up to that, Andrew's question around recommendations for an effective or efficient path to obtaining AI literacy. So,
Mm-hmm.
what are your recommendations for individuals who are looking to educate themselves, who want to know about these systems and these tools? What are some resources or some avenues that you might recommend that they can utilize?
I can definitely. There are tons of like the open access resources, but as everything now, when you go to YouTube, it's like it is really hard to figure out which one is a good one, which one is not a good one. This is a kind of a bit of a problem at the moment. I'm happy to provide a couple of like starting points in this AI literacy, if it makes sense. And there are a couple of certain knowledge or areas I think people should invest in. I think the first one is demystifying a little bit. When we say talk about this AI agents or AIs, for many people, it sounds like magic. It sounds like what's happening. I have no idea. But underneath the hood, these are like a piece of code, and they have a certain structure. There is a reason why they can actually create these kind of text. So understanding that part is actually quite useful. Demystifying the AI to begin with, it will lower the barrier to in regard to these tools. I think the second part, of course, experiencing with them, like a very simple ChatGPT, Gemini, Cloud, Perplexity, Grok. These are all chat environments. Spending time with them for different resources. It can be professional, it can be personal. Spending time and getting a sense of about the personality of these different tools, and then all of these are going to give you another kind of a pathways to agentic solutions or different types of solutions. But I think the two parts are, the one is demystifying the technical part. Even if you are not a technical person, I am not a super technical person, but understanding the kind of the logic behind these algorithms. And the second part is spending time with them, and then it will lead to a certain path.
Wonderful. So with that, Barak, I think we'll kind of wrap up questions there. I want to thank everybody for their time and their attention today. I know it was a really intensive topic as it's constantly evolving. One question I do want to address before we leave, as I said at the beginning, the presentation was recorded. I'm hoping to have the presentation posted within the next week. Best case scenario by Friday, worst case scenario by this time next week. And I would be happy to send out a copy of the link once it's available to everybody that attended. Barak, would you be able to send me a copy of the presentation that I can also include so that way they can get the slides?
Absolutely. And I will add like a one additional slide with certain YouTube videos and different parts that people can also access as well. And through the executive education, we will be planning to have different modules. And the first module is AI literacy. So we can also maybe send out an email when it becomes available if people are interested. I'm happy to talk as well. My email is here, BUE222. Feel free to send me an email. I'm more than happy to engage. And through the AI BRL, we can also engage with some company industry partnership, creating opportunities for our students, data for us to do research and help you to resolve some of the issues. It will be a great collaboration. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. I'm all ears.
All right. Wonderful. Thank you, Barak. Thank you to our
Thanks, Brian.
audience, and we will see you guys in the next one. Have a great week.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.